If I don't take the time to talk to you about tongs, who will? Welcome back to Black Bear Forge and the tool of the day. Well, you've probably guessed by now, the tool of the day is tongs, and specifically flat jaw tongs and a few very basic variations of flat jaw tongs. And we've looked at some of these before. We've made a few versions of flat jaw tongs, and I'll talk a little bit about those as we go on with this assortment that I've got laid out here, and explain what flat jaw tongs are and why they're useful and why maybe they're not so useful. Your basic flat jaw tongs come in a huge variety of sizes and slightly different shapes. Everybody that makes a set makes them a little bit differently. They all serve basically the same purpose, and that is holding a piece of flat stock in the jaws. And that's really all these are typically good for. You can modify a pair of flat jaw tongs slightly by adding a groove down the middle, if you can see that. If there's a groove there or a crossways groove, then they will hold some round stock or square stock on the diamond, and that makes them much more useful. Like I say, they come in lots and lots of different sizes. Everybody that makes them a little bit different. This is an old commercial pair that probably came from an antique store somewhere. Kind of bent up. I need to straighten the reins on it, but not something I use all the time. Or maybe I've never used. It's hard to say. Here's a set that has forge welded reins on it, which is a good way to make tongs, and we've looked at doing that. This is a pair of tongs that we made as part of a video, and they are a twisted jaw. This was done from flat stock, and they were done without the need for other tongs to make this pair of tongs. And I'll link to that video right up there in the left-hand corner. It should be right over here somewhere. And you can go back and watch how we made this pair of tongs. One of the things flat jaw tongs pretty much always have in common is that both halves are identical. You make two halves exactly the same, and when you flip one over, it becomes the matching half for the other side. And that's the common denominator when we're looking at flat jaw tongs. And most of the other variations then are the same thing. One variation of flat jaw tongs, and they're just shorter and stubbier, are these farrier's tongs. I've got a few sets of these. I don't use them real often. They're okay, but whatever it is farriers like about them, I haven't found the huge benefit. They should have more grip because the jaw is shorter, and there's therefore more leverage in the jaw. The longer the jaw gets, the less leverage you have out at the end. But I haven't really found that they make that big a difference. They're just another pair of flat jaw tongs as far as I can tell. Then there are the slotted jaw tongs. Slotted jaw tongs are quite useful. Besides holding work as flat tongs, they'll hold on the edge. They'll also hold square bar and round bar. So this is a real step up, and it's really just a matter of punching a hole in the tong jaw. And this is a pair we did as a video. Again, I will try to link to that video right up here in this corner somewhere so that you can watch that video if you want to. We had some trouble punching the slot, but I've since made a bolster that'll make life a little bit easier if we want to punch that slot. So we'll probably do some more of those at some point in a future video. Another slight variation of flat jaw tongs, and these start to become V-bit tongs, so they are kind of dancing around both things, and that's a wolf jaw tong. It's got a real deep slot down the middle. It's got various grooves, so it can hold material, different size material crossways. It can hold something lengthwise. It can hold something like flat jaw tongs. Again, a fairly useful pair of tongs, kind of universal, but not necessarily the absolute best pair of tongs in the world. This pair, by the way, is made from a pair of Ken's custom iron quick tongs or rapid tongs. So they were a very quick, easy set of tongs to make, and we'll cover that again in a future video because we haven't looked at making wolf jaw tongs. And speaking of the Ken's custom iron tongs, This is their version of the slotted tongs. And this is what makes their tongs so quick and easy to make. This is all done for you. Heat this up, turn that a quarter twist to create a blank that looks much like this. So just twisting that up is all you need to do, and then draw out the reins to make a nice handle on them. And that's all you need to do to some of the Ken's Custom Iron tongs. Really good tongs, quick and simple to make, and if you're just getting started in making tongs, I would look into those. And again, we've done a video on their flat jaw tongs, and we'll link to that up here in this left-hand corner. So that's just a quick look at some flat jaw tongs and some subtle variations of flat jaw tongs. Some of these we have made, and some of these we will cover in future videos, but it's just an introduction for people who are trying to figure out what tools are what in the shop and what tools they might need in the shop. I would definitely start your tong making adventures with a good pair of flat jaw tongs. It will help you understand how tongs work and how to make them. Again, the Ken's Custom Iron tongs are a good way to start. What do you need in the way of flat jaw tongs? It just depends on what you're working on. If you're working in 1/8 and 1/4 inch stock making simple projects, you need flat jaw tongs that hold 1/8 and 1/4 inch stock. And if they have the groove down the middle, probably that groove should be sized for 1/4, 5/16, or 3/8 stock. 2 pair of flat jaw tongs to start with. An 1/8 that holds 1/4 inch square around and a 1/4 inch flat that holds 3/8 square around is a great place to start for flat jaw tongs, and you will add more tongs as you need them. A well-equipped shop has hundreds of pairs of tongs, and we are going to talk about more tong styles and shapes in future videos. I will do 3 or 4 videos on tongs. Then, to keep things from getting too monotonous, we'll move on to some other tool and come back to some of the more specialized tongs in future videos. So I hope that was interesting, and you can give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done it already, hit that subscribe button, and that way you'll know which videos come out when. But one way or another, make time in your day to get out to your shop, make something, but stay safe, wear your safety glasses. We'll see you for the next one.